Welcome to our YouTube channel PhysioGyan. Today, we will explore the key components of an electrocardiogram (ECG) waveform. Understanding these components is crucial for interpreting the electrical activity of the heart. The P wave represents atrial depolarization. This is the electrical activity that triggers the contraction of the atria, the upper chambers of the heart. It is the first wave in the ECG cycle. Next is the Q wave, which signifies the depolarization of the interventricular septum, IVS. The IVS is the wall separating the left and right ventricles. The Q wave is usually a small downward deflection following the P wave. The R wave is the most prominent wave in the ECG and represents the depolarization of the main mass of the ventricles. This is the phase where the ventricles, the heart's lower chambers, contract to pump blood to the lungs and the rest of the body. The S wave indicates the final phase of ventricular depolarization. It follows the R wave and completes the process of ventricular contraction. The T wave represents ventricular repolarization, which is the process of the ventricles recovering and preparing for the next heartbeat. This wave typically follows the QRS complex and appears as an upward deflection. The PQ segment represents the time it takes for the electrical signal to travel from the sinoatrial (SA) node to the atrioventricular (AV) node. The QRS complex signifies the depolarization of the ventricles and the repolarization of the atria. This complex is crucial as it corresponds to the ventricles contracting and pumping blood out of the heart. The PR interval includes the time of atrial depolarization and the conduction of the electrical impulse through the AV node. It starts at the beginning of the P wave and ends at the start of the QRS complex. This interval helps assess the time taken for the electrical signal to travel from the atria to the ventricles. The QT interval represents the time for both ventricular depolarization and repolarization. It starts at the beginning of the Q wave and ends at the end of the T wave. The ST segment is the flat, isoelectric phase between the end of the S wave and the start of the T wave. It represents the time when the ventricles are depolarized and beginning the process of repolarization. Any deviation from the baseline in the ST segment can indicate cardiac issues, such as ischemia or infarction.